Race number 3 of season number 5 brings us right here to Newton, Iowa in the Midwest for the Elite Seniors Racing Championship, race number 3 at the wonderful Iowa Speedway. Presented by RaceMRL.com, race number 3 of the series, as we will get to our national anthem here, courtesy of Simon Adams.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Big thank you to Simon Adams for singing tonight's national anthem as we get to qualify here in the Midwest. Got King Swan on the track in the number 155 machine, as well as Brett McCoy in that slick looking number 1 machine. A throwback to somebody who he raced with, who sadly passed away in 2001. A slick looking blue and white machine. At Papineau, top of the board, 25.084. At McCoy, top of the board, 24.896 for the number 1 machine. Out of Poplar Grove, Illinois, the Finnegan's RV, Nielsen Racing, left-hander chassis number 1 machine, coming around for his second lap. Can he improve? Ooh, goes a little down low. I don't believe he will. Still going to be a 24.896 as Kincaid on the raceway now for his first lap of 24.915, 24.915 for Kincaid. Getting a little sideways going into the, or coming out of the corner. A beautiful Cheetos, Flamin' Hot Cheetos number 17 machine as he rounds turn number 4, coming to the checkered flag. Or did come to the checkered flag, only a P2 behind Brett McCoy. All cars have qualified for tonight's event. Here, as we take a quick sponsor read. This event sponsored tonight by Checkered Flag RC Raceway. Checkered Flag RC Raceway will be bringing you action all summer for season 23 of their RC program. Not only will they have normal racing schedule from May through October, but they'll also have the Kansas Dirt Oval Championships, Racing for a Reason benefit race, and their Halloween Havoc event. Their track is totally geared around a family atmosphere. They strive for a no stress, full fun filled day of racing located 1 mile from the Kansas Speedway. They would love to have you join them. Check them out on Facebook and YouTube, www.youtube.com/CF Raceway. Also presented to you by Ruck Offshore. Ruck Offshore is a veteran-owned brand built for those who live life on the water, inspired by the discipline and resilience of offshore anglers. They create high-performance apparel and gear designed for durability, comfort, and functionality in the toughest conditions while actively supporting marine conservation to help protect the oceans that fuel their lifestyle. Ruck Offshore's apparel lineup of a lightweight performance shirts, hats, and sun protective gear also fits perfect within the racing world, giving drivers and crews breathable comfort for long, hot days at the racetrack. Visit www.ruckoffshore.com for more information. Also visit www.racemrl.com/ESRC for more information on how to join the series, register, and look at the points. Speaking of the points here tonight, a quick look. I was going to say, quick look at the points, but Keith Kincaid currently the point leader of the series. A little bit of technical difficulties here on our end tonight. I hurt nobody. Apologies for that. As the cars roll off the grid, we're going to take a look at your starting lineup for tonight's feature event. So number one sees Brett McCoy in the left-hander chassis number one machine. That beautiful, slick blue and white machine, like I said, alongside Keith Kincaid. Row number two brings you Ed Papineau and Chris Farmer. Row number three, David Brill alongside Scott Kinkswan. Row number four brings you Bob Belshaw alongside Andy Patton, who was our second place finisher on Monday night. Row number five, Ben Gunther, who we saw on Monday night make his DRN debut alongside Rob Cassidy. And rounding out the field, Mark Ossier in the number 20 machine. 11 cars on hand for tonight's feature event. And what a stacked field of race cars it is for tonight's event. Keith Kincaid, little on-board action there. As we come to tonight's green flag. Green flag in the air for race number 3. As they head into turn 1, Ed Papineau and Keith Kincaid side by side. Down into turn 1, Brett McCoy with a solid little lead there. 0.3 of a second. 0.4 of a second down the straightaway. Kincaid clears for second position as a battle for, I believe, fourth between David Brill and the 31 of Chris Farmer go around. Unfortunate for those two machines, and the caution is out for the first time tonight. Gonna take a look at the DRN replay there to see what happened. Looked like Brill and Farmer were just fighting for the spot. Brill just maybe just didn't know he was clear. He wasn't clear, and King Swan getting in that as well. Got a little damage there. Unfortunate for the number 55 machine of King Swan, as tough break for that number 88. Brill had such a great run on Monday night, but not going to be his night early on tonight, as we only, I believe, got through one lap. We were clicking on lap number 3 before the caution came out for the first time. One more time, let's take a little look at that on board from Brill. And yeah, maybe just didn't know he wasn't clear. Flipped the back of Chris Farmer's car and around he went. Just unfortunate for the number 88 of David Brill. First caution of the evening brought out on lap number 3 of tonight's feature event. Thank you for joining us right here on the DRN for coverage of the Elite Seniors Racing Championship Asphalt Touring Series right here at the Iowa Speedway in Newton, Iowa. Race number 3 of the 10-week series. Current points leader sitting in second right now. Behind the number 1 of Brett McCoy is Keith Kincaid. Kincaid, of course, if you look back at our Monday night adventures or Monday night race for the Elite Dirt Late Model Series, Keith Kincaid took home that victory with a pass with less than 3 to go over Andy Patton. A lot of us thought Patton was going to hold him off on Monday night. Go check that broadcast out if you have not already. This is definitely, tonight's a lot different than it was on Monday night. It is a lot like USA last week, where it is a tire-saving track. Brett McCoy said in practice, even Keith said it in practice, that they're struggling to save tire, and it gets a little loose on them coming out of the corner, especially down that front stretch. You getting a little loose coming out of 4, going down the front straightaway. So definitely something that all of these drivers have to watch out for tonight. Coupled up, ready to go for our second restart of the evening. Of course, the Elite Seniors Racing Championship presented by RaceMRL.com. Green flag back in the air for the Elite Seniors Racing Championship Asphalt Late Model Series. Keith Kincaid takes away that second spot. Ed Papino to third. The battle is for fourth as Bob Belshaw and Ben Goodyear. Oh, Andy Patton sends it in there a little deep. Gonna try and take away that third spot, or I'm sorry, that fourth spot. Oh, the two make contact. Belshaw into the wall. Patton looking to slip through. Gunther and Belshaw made contact. They're still battling behind them. A big pack of cars down the back straightaway. Oh, three wide. Rob Cassidy gets on the wall a little bit there, tags it on the front stretch. They all keep going as Belshaw and Gunther still battle here. Gunther to the wall a little bit there. Belshaw looking to hold off everybody. Only on lap number 9, coming to 10. Andy Patton to the inside. Belshaw makes contact with David Brill. Caution is out once again on the Speedway as we head to lap number 10. Maybe somebody behind him made contact there. Maybe Chris Farmer? Take a look at that caution flag. As yeah, Belshaw goes around and just Farmer going through the grass there to try and avoid. They all seem to save it, but caution was out on the Speedway for Bob Belshaw and David Brill. Let's take a look at that. Yeah, just got into the back of him a little bit. Maybe Belshaw checked up, it looked like. Just unfortunate. I'm glad they were all able to gather it back up and continue on here in this 100 lap feature event. All 11 cars still on the raceway. Chris Farmer, I believe, is a lap down at the moment. 3 laps down, I apologize. Farmer looks like he's going to get the wave around this time. Or the lucky dog, I should say. I believe he will. Going around the leaders here. Brett McCoy led the way all 10 laps so far in the feature event. Keith Kincaid stayed in second from the drop of the green flag to right now. Ed Papineau in third. Andy Patton takes that fourth spot after Belshaw and Gunther were battling between each other for that fourth spot early on in that run. Scott Kingswan, great recovery into position number 5. Position number 6 is Bob Belshaw. David Brill for 7. Rob Cassidy for 8. Then Gunther for 9. Ossier for 10, and Farmer 3 laps down in 11th. Chris Farmer going to rejoin at the tail end of the field. As we're going to quickly pull in Brett McCoy for a quick little interview, ask him how the car's going. Or not. He is not within the driver voice channels. So we will not get a live interview from him tonight. However, if we get another caution, we will get another opportunity to talk to Brett McCoy. Second caution of the night caused by Bob Belshaw and David Brill. Gonna go back green here on lap number 10. Well, the caution came out on lap number 10. We're gonna be going back green a little couple laps after that. Lap number 13, I believe, for these late model stock cars right here at the Iowa Speedway. Coming to the restart. Brett McCoy leads them to the green flag. Once again, pulls out in front of Keith Kincaid as we are green. Looks like some trouble in the back. Not going to be an issue. Brett McCoy pulls out to a 3/10 of a second lead over Monday night's dirt late model winner, Kincaid, as Andy Patton, Ed Papano side by side for that third spot. Actually, no, Scott Kingswan was side by side with Andy Patton there. Sorry for that little interruption. Had a microphone difficulty on our side on the in the control tower. Knocked over a microphone stand. Everything is okay. Still battling for now battling for the third spot. Scott's Kingswan to the inside of Ed Papano. And Kincaid has brought it down to 1/10 of a second on the leader Brett McCoy as they come out of turn number 2, lap number 18 on the board. Pink Swan takes the third spot from Papano. Top 3 under a blanket. Looks like King Swan's going to try and go low on Keith Kincaid. Kincaid issues for Brett McCoy. Drops to the third spot as King Swan, smart to back out of it, but sends it into the corner to try and take the lead from Keith Kincaid. Side by side as they head down the front stretch. As Scott Kingswan led that lap. Going to take the lead coming off of turn number 2. Brett McCoy back to third. As 3 wide for the fourth spot. Between Ed Papano, David Brill, and Andy Patton now side by side for the third spot, I should say, between Papano and Brett McCoy. Brett definitely was struggling in practice with the tire fall off around 20 laps into the run. And here it is. The struggles continue. Scott Kingswan leads the race as we head to lap number 22. Kincaid all over the back bumper of the number 155 machine. Top 4 all under blanket, top 5 under a blanket. As the field really starting to spread out here on lap number 23. Kingswan, still your leader. As Brill took a peek to the inside of Ed Papano there in turns number 1 and 2. Brett McCoy going to look to do the same. Brill shuts the door on him. Kincaid took a peek on Kingswan. Brett looks to take another peek under that number 88 machine. Brill looks to take a peek under Papano. Nobody making a pass just yet. Kincaid looking to go to the outside on the backstretch. Gonna try the inside now. Nope, going back to the outside to try and pass him the hard way. As a battle for the third spot between David Brill and Ed Papano side by side as they head into turns 3 and 4. Brett McCoy gets into that mix for that third spot. Gonna pass Papano for the third spot. No, dead heat to the line. Brett's gonna edge him out on lap number 26. Looking to go past David Brill here, still side by side as they head into 1 and 2 between McCoy and Papano. As McCoy I believe still has a nose inside of. Oh, and Kincaid taking the lead on the outside the hard way as they head into 1 and 2. King Swan gonna lose the lead, still battling back on that inside lane for position number 1. A bundle of cars here. David Brill looking to the outside for position number 2 as we get to lap number 28. Still side by side as they head into 1 and 2. Brett McCoy looks to the inside of Ed Papineau, gonna just file in behind him. It's still early on in this race. No reason to burn your tires up this early on if you know you have a good car, like he did leading the majority of the opening laps. Andy Patton and Goodyear side by side in the 55 and the 87, respectively. Still battling to the outside is Ben. That 55 machine, pretty strong on the outside to be able to hold that line. Still side by side as they get to the front straightaway. Pink Swan still on the inside of David Brill for that second spot. Fantastic racing from these two racers. And Brett McCoy to the inside of Ed Papineau down the backstretch. Papineau gonna concede here as King Swan still to the inside of Brill. They almost make contact coming off the corner. Keith Kincaid still leads the way. King Swan to the inside still, and finally can concede the spot. Brett McCoy goes to the outside of King Swan for position number 3, coming down the front straightaway. Oh, they make contact here. David Brill gets a little sideways. Save it. King Swan saves it as well. Great save from all those cars. King Swan going to lose a ton of spots here on the raceway. I shouldn't say a ton of spots. Still in the top 5 here. Capital lost quite a few spots from that. As Ben Goodyear takes that 4th spot away from Papineau. David Brill in the 3rd spot. Brett McCoy comes back to 2nd position, 4/10 away from the leader, Keith Kincaid. Kincaid all night long so far led quite a few laps here. 8 laps in total, making that 9, I believe. That might be wrong, but Kincaid leading a substantial amount of laps here early on in the going. As Brett trying to catch him, using all that bottom line to push himself towards Kincaid. Gonna go on board with McCoy here as we go into turn number 1. The field's still going as they round corner number 1 and 2. Brett McCoy right on the tail of Kincaid into 3 and 4. Sends it a little deeper this time. We have a battle for that 3rd spot, possibly brewing between Gunther and Brill. Brett trying everything he can to get past Kincaid here as we get to lap number 40. Only 11 cars on the property here at the Iowa Speedway tonight for our feature event. But we do have an interesting week of racing next week as well, with it being Port Royal and Myrtle Beach. So two very different racetracks, of course, one being dirt, one being asphalt. Myrtle Beach, a legendary racetrack when it comes to asphalt modified racing, as well as late model racing. So good to be. We're gonna have a fun time there next Wednesday night, right here live on the DRN. And Port Royal on Monday night should be a good one too. Brett McCoy getting ever so close to Kincaid as we tick off lap number 41 onto 42. Right on the back bumper of the Flaming Hot Cheetos number 17 machine. Top four all under a blanket here within the early going of this race, really spreading out the field. McCoy looks to the inside, gonna take a peek side by side down the front stretch, and Brett's gonna file in, taps the wall a little bit. Big moment there for Brett McCoy. And side by side for that third spot, Gunther and the number 88 of David Brill getting into it as they head into turns 3 and 4, still side by side for that third spot. Little door contact, never gonna hurt nobody. Oh, Brill gets into the wall, just slightly there, as the battle for the lead still continues between Brett McCoy and Keith Kincaid, the two front runners, first and second in points. As Brill and Gunther and the 55 and the 88 of David Brill and Ben Gunther still side by side as they come down the front straightaway to end lap number 45. As side by side for the lead, a pass for the lead here between Keith Kincaid and Brett McCoy side by side as they head into turns number 3 and 4. As McCoy, your new leader here tonight at the Iowa Speedway, lap number 47, is when he does so. As David Brill clear for that third spot, then Gunther and Scott Kingswan, battle for that fourth position. As McCoy starting to pull away, 2/10 ahead of Kincaid, 3/10 now going into turns 3 and 4. That number one machine looking stout in the early going of this as the run goes on. Who knows? Maybe it's good luck for this number one car to come out and play every once in a while as they come back down the backstretch. Scott Kingswan moves to the fifth spot. Then Gunther in fourth. David Brill in third. Keith Kincaid, of course, in second. Behind Brett McCoy in that number one machine. Left-hander chassis number one. as they go into turns number 1 and 2. Lap number 51, really going to get a long run here towards the middle and the end of this race, halfway in tonight's feature event, presented by RaceMRL.com. Going to take a look back at third, fourth, and fifth. Scott King Swan, the 255s, the 155, and the 55, side by side down the backstretch. Ed Papineau getting into that battle there for the fourth spot. King Swan looks to clear him off the corner. I believe he does. Yes, he will for that fourth position. Papineau tries to charge around the outside for position number 5. As the leaders, still Brett McCoy and still Keith Kincaid, pulling away 2 seconds ahead of third position on the raceway. Take a look at the onboard of Keith Kincaid. You can hear the tires screeching as he comes out of turn number 4 to try and catch that number 1 machine who is pulling away here. Bob Belshaw enters the pit lane. Some good racing side by side between David Brill and Scott Kingswan, and also for that 5th spot between Ed Papineau and Ben Goodyear. Papineau looks to have an edge, slight edge coming out of turn number 2. Not going to clear him just yet. Ooh, made a little contact there. Belshaw leaving the pit lane now as we get back up to the leaders on lap number 57 of 100. Belshaw enters the racetrack once again, 2 laps down and right in front of the leaders. McCoy trying to dive down to miss him as Kincaid stuck onto the inside of Belshaw. That could have been disastrous for the leaders as we head to lap number 58 down the backstretch, putting Belshaw 3 laps down. Still all 11 cars on the raceway. As Gunther and David Brill going at it for that 5th position as they head down the back straightaway. The 55 and the 88 make contact a little bit there. Gunther made sure not to tap him, being very careful on a big track like this to not just blatantly wreck somebody for a spot. I'm still fighting for this 5th position between these two racers. All the way up the racetrack goes David Brill and Gunther as the 55 concedes here. Still battling between those two racers. Papineau in that 4th spot, looking comfortable at the moment. Scott Kingswan in the number 155, looking good as well. 3.1 seconds back of the leader, who is Keith Kincaid now. Kincaid passed Brett McCoy for the lead. 3/10 behind now is Brett. Take a quick look at the pass for the lead, just slides up the racetrack. And Maybe fun the tires a little bit there as we get back to the racing action. Lap number 63 of 100. Brett McCoy still in that second spot, looking to chase down Keith Kincaid once again. What a fun racetrack for these two. As Bro getting passed by Gunther for that fifth spot. Bro looks to cross him up a little bit. Further towards the back, Rob Cassidy and Chris Farmer going at it, even though it's not for position on the raceway. Ed Papino and Scott Kingswan going at it for that third spot on the raceway right now. As Brett McCoy looks to chase down Kincaid. Probably would be loving a caution right now, I would assume, as he continues to chase down Kincaid. Lap number 66 of 100 in the books for the Elite Asphalt Touring Series, presented by RaceMRL.com, part of the Elite Seniors Racing League series. Kincaid leads both points, the asphalt and the dirt, at the moment, with 3 races for dirt in the books and 2 in the books for Elite Asphalt Touring Series. This will be race number 3 of the series. As we pointed out, McCoy not really gaining on the number 17 machine as they head down the front stretch once again. Looks like he has a little bit of tire damage into the wall. Goes McCoy. Kincaid also got into the wall. 7/10 back from Kincaid now is Brett McCoy. Looking to push it to the leader is McCoy, who is seemingly struggling going into turn 1. That's the second time he's hit the wall all race in that spot, in that exact spot, like 30 laps earlier, which conceded and gave Kincaid the lead originally. But Brett McCoy struggling in the later going as the laps click off into the wall once again is McCoy. Your opener, your season opener asphalt point series leader, or race winner, I should say, who was in Team Holloway Victory Lane that night at the New Smyrna Speedway. Brett McCoy struggling here in the late going as we click off lap number 71. McCoy goes down pit road. Andy Patton also on pit road. Just struggles for that number 1 machine. 30 laps to go on the board. As not what Brett McCoy wanted to see. That puts Scott Kingswan in position number 2. Kincaid gonna put Brett McCoy a lap down. As Osier gonna pass David Brill for position number 5. McCoy comes out of the pits a lap down. As Kingswan, now behind Belshaw, has to get past Belshaw, the lap car of Belshaw, for to even think about getting to Keith Kincaid here with 28 laps to go. As Keith Kincaid pitting from the lead can't really make it to the end on fuel. That will give Scott Kingswan the lead with 28 laps to go. Ben Gunther also entering the pits in the number 55 machine. As Kincaid pits from the lead, David Brill also pitting from the 5th spot. That puts Scott Kingswan as your leader for now. Ed Papino, position number 2. Mark Ossier in position number 3. Keith Kincaid, position number 4. And Brett McCoy, position number 5 on the racetrack. As King Swan looking to pass Belshaw and put him yet another lap down. 3 laps down for Bob Belshaw. As Kincaid back on the raceway, also a lap down, battling for what would be the lead here actually on the raceway. Brett McCoy towards the front of the field, Ossier down pit road in the number 20 car. King Swan still your leader. He's going to have to pit eventually, but will he make it to the end is the real question. We know, of course, Keith and Brett didn't have enough fuel to make it to the end here, but will King Swan? 24 laps to go. 23 laps to go this time by. Scott King Swan still your leader. Is maybe going to slow down. Maybe he's going to pit this time. Not too sure. Not going to pit this time, but Ed Papino hits from the second position. The current battle for the lead, if you will, once the pit stops all cycle out, would be Brett McCoy and Keith Kincaid. Currently, Brett leads Kincaid. King Swan up 5 spots since the start of tonight's event. Papino's in the pits. I believe he's going to go a lap down here to the leader, Scott King Swan. Scott looking to stretch it as far as he can to get as many laps led here tonight as possible. "14 laps led on the day, 15 this time by, with 20 laps to go. Not sure when he's going to think about pitting. That is the real question here. He's gonna have to pit eventually unless he's good on fuel. We will just have to see. 100 laps is a long time around this speedway here in Iowa. Cassidy looking to get one of his laps back here to put him back on the lead lap. Currently battling or trying to get to the inside of Bob Belshaw. David Brill 3 laps down in position number 11 after such a good race he had early on. As Rob Cassidy looks to get one of his laps back here from the leader, Scott Kingswan. Kingswan, his tires have to be screeching here. Might let Cassidy by, actually, as Kincaid passed Brett McCoy for the relative lead here. Both guys, I believe Brett McCoy got into the wall a little bit there. Has some right front damage. We'll see how much that affects him towards the end of the race. As King Swan not going to pit once again. Might have enough fuel to make it to the end of the race, but are his tires any good? That is the real question with 16 laps to go towards the end of this one. McCoy and Kincaid battle for that second and third spot. Papineau in fourth, a lap down. Not sure if that number 155 will be pitting. 15 laps to go on the board. Belshaw looks to the inside. 14 laps to go for the number 155 machine of King Swan. Gonna secede the spot to Belshaw as they head down the backstretch. Once again, not gonna pit. That might be the deciding factor for King Swan in possibly winning this race here tonight at the Iowa Speedway as they head down the backstretch. Maybe not gonna pit again. He's might be all good on fuel, but his tires are saying otherwise, letting lap cars go around him. That is letting the two cars in second and third catch him as well. As they head down the backstretch, you can see Keith Kincaid going to frame. But will Kincaid be able to unlap himself in 12 laps and get back to the number 155? Kincaid, hurry, in a absolute hurry here to unlap himself. As a problem maybe with King Swan as Kincaid just drives by him and gets his lap back. McCoy looking to do the same thing as they head into 3 and 4. This is the battle for the lead, if you will. Scott Kingswan letting the lap cars go by. He knows they're a lap behind. Off the pace is Scott Kingswan with two hands in the air for the flagger. This is going to be trouble for some of the lap cars behind him. Chris Farmer, David Brill, and Mark Ossier. Off the pace is Kingswan in the lead spot with just 9 laps to go. Can he limp it home? Currently 22 seconds ahead of Keith Kincaid. He knows he's out ahead, but Kincaid is rapidly gaining on the number 17. Capito gets his lap back as well here on the front straightaway or in turn number 4. 4 cars on the lead lap with 8 laps to go. King Swan is only 20 seconds ahead. Kincaid gaining every lap. Just gained 3 seconds on Scott King Swan. Coming to 7 laps to go. Yes, a whole second off the pace of Kincaid here. And King Swan looking, maybe pulling down pit road here. Gonna limp it around once again. Knows he only has 7 laps to go, but Kincaid is catching him by a lot a lap, a second per lap. Not even 2 seconds, 3 seconds per lap. Scott Kingswan's out of the race. And that will give the lead to Kincaid. Was unfortunate. Keith Kincaid in the lead, out of the race. Unfortunate for Scott Kingswan with 6 laps to go. Maybe had some damage as everybody passes and cycles back. Kincaid, 5 laps to go, one hand in the air from the flagger in the flag stand here at the Iowa Speedway. Kincaid looking to go 2 for 2 this week on Monday and Wednesday nights in Iowa. First in Knoxville, Iowa on Monday night, then right here in Newton, Iowa on Wednesday. Catching up to Andy Patton to put him another lap down, or to put him a lap down once again, actually. As Ed Papino goes to the pits, that puts Papino a lap down, sitting in the 7th position here as Gunther in that third spot, Brett McCoy in the second spot, and Keith Kincaid in that first position. 2 seconds back of Kincaid is McCoy with heavy damage on that right front. Once again, like I said earlier in the broadcast, should have fixed it while he was down pit road real quick. 2.9 seconds back and losing him 3 seconds back now. Maybe some trouble here for Brett McCoy. Yes, losing time on the leader with 2 laps to go for Kincaid. As losing time every corner so far here with 2 laps to go. Kincaid putting Belshaw another lap, yet another lap down. White flag in the air for Keith Kincaid in the Flamin' Hot Cheetos Elite Seniors Racing Championship number 17 machine. Heads down the backstretch for the final time. As coming out of turn 4, 2 for 2 on the week. Keith Kincaid victorious at Iowa Speedway. Brett McCoy in second, Ben Gunther third, Rob Cassidy 4, Andy Patton in fifth, Osier sixth, Chris Farmer position number 7, Bob Belshaw position number 8, David Brill position number 9, 2 laps down, Ed Papano position number 10, and Scott Kingswan, heartbreaker with 6 laps to go, finishes position number 11. As Keith Kincaid comes down the front stretch. We will be right back after this short break here on the DRN for to speak with your top 3 finishers.
Team Holloway Racing Graphics is your one-stop vinyl shop. We specialize in RC racing of all scales. We do full-size race cars as well. Have a sign that needs done, vehicles lettered, we can do it. PT Speed Shop. We rebuild quarter-scale motors, break them in, dyno them, and get you back to victory lane. We have a parts store opening soon. Check it out at ptspeedshop.com. Check us out at teamholloway.com. We would love to take care of your vinyl needs.
As to speak with your first of the top 3 here tonight, finishing third. Ben, you looked pretty good tonight. You had some great battles towards the end there. Tell me about your race, my friend.
Hey, yeah, it felt really good actually. I was it's a little rough in the beginning, trying to get into the groove there, but I think I kind of figured it out at the end. Yeah, just ended up in a right spot at the right time.
I mean, it definitely looked a little like you were having a lot of fun towards the middle of the race, towards the start and the middle of the race there with David, side by side for a couple laps there, and especially with King Swan, 255s or the 155 and the 55 battling there. You know, I mean, how was it with the tire saving tonight? You guys, a lot of cars tonight definitely had issues. Brett McCoy, Kincaid had issues with tire saving a little early on. Tell me about how that was.
Honestly, I felt pretty good with the right sides until I pitted. It was starting to get a little wobbly right before the pit. I think it was like 25 or 30 laps to go when I ended up going in and just taking right sides. But it felt pretty good. I felt like I was able to keep it in the turns. I didn't feel like I was sliding off too much. So I think sitting behind the cars and kind of sitting in the draft there saved my tires a little bit.
All right, well, any family, friends, sponsors you'd like to shout out for this 3rd place finish here tonight?
Yeah, I'd like to say thanks again to this group. Thanks to Rob and Keith and everybody that's racing. And sorry for those that I bump into every once in a while. I appreciate my family letting me do this every Monday and Wednesday night. And thanks for what you're doing as well. It's really, really cool to watch.
All right, congratulations on your 3rd place finish, Ben.
Thank you.
Brett,
How you doing?
unfortunately, one spot short once again tonight, but definitely a wild ride for you.
Yeah, we were in position there, and I don't know what happened with that. I don't even know who it was. Yellow car, Pennzoil car, I think. I don't know if he got sideways or because I'd been watching him and he'd been kind of coming off the corner, going up to the wall, and for some reason he didn't. So I don't know if he got sideways or what happened, and I got into him, and then I just tore the hell out of the front end of it, and it was over then. But still a good night.
Yeah, obviously, you got to be thinking 3 races in, even though it's still a little early on, points wise, you still are 2nd in points, I believe, behind Kincaid, who took the points lead from you last week after a dominant
Yeah,
performance for you at New Smyrna. But 2 weeks in a row with
yeah,
the little bit of the tire saving game for sure. Definitely a mix up.
yeah. I think like I said, I was talking to him in the waiting room there. I don't know that I could have beat him, but I had played the game right and at least got us in position. Um, I think Scott Kingswan was going to win. He had pitted early, it looked like, and filled up with gas, but he just went a little too hard. And he said he got black flag, so my best guess is that he got the right front tire meatball, just wore it down to the rim. But otherwise, I think you'd be talking to him as the winner.
Yeah, definitely unfortunate circumstances for King Swan towards the end there with 6 laps to go, just randomly uh, got sent to the garage. I don't know if it was connection issues or anything like that, but, definitely a rough break for him, but a solid P2 finish here for you tonight. Any friends, family, sponsors you would like to thank for this P2 finish?
Yeah, the names on the car there: Gillies Sheet Metal, Snooks Automotive, Finnegan's RV. My buddy Alex, this is a tribute car to his dad that passed away back in '01. So it's kind of cool to drag this one out and run it. The guys for putting the league on, you for the broadcast, and the wife, as always, for letting me spend, like I say, 4 or 5 nights a week up here on, pretty much every night of the week racing. So listen, second place, I'm a little disappointed, but we're going to some pretty good tracks for me: Hickory, Martinsville, North Wilkesboro. So we'll be right there with them.
You got to worry about Myrtle Beach next week, though, my friend. All right, congratulations
Yeah,
on your position number 2 finish.
appreciate it. Take care. You have a good one.
You as well. And the big man in the room, Team Holloway victory lane once again for Kincaid. Keith, 2 for 2 on the week. How you feeling?
Hey, I'm feeling good. It's actually three for three for the week. If you count the
Yes, of course.
legends.
That'll be on Friday,
Yep.
but
Yep. Yeah, I guess I gave it away. But yeah, heck of a week, man. Can't ask for more. Great racing this week. I know our turnout was a little light tonight. We had a lot of people traveling and, end of summer, people trying to get in those vacations with the kids and whatnot. So, but all in all, man, great trip to Iowa. What a fantastic track.
yeah, while we got you here, you might as well uh, For the people that are looking to join the league, how would they go about doing that?
Yeah, you've got a couple of different ways. Probably the best way is to go to www.racemrl.com. There you can find a link to the Elite Seniors Racing Championship, or you can look us up on Facebook, eliteracingchampionship.com on Facebook, and just join our group on Facebook, and we'll get you fixed up, get you registered for the league.
All right. Any family, friends, sponsors you'd like to shout out for this victory here in Team Holloway Victory Lane?
Yeah, I'd like to thank all our wonderful sponsors, Checkered Flag RC Raceway in Kansas, RD Ranch, Ruck Offshore, Wiley Raceway, Slot Car Racing there in Illinois, MRL for allowing us to have this platform, and then, of course, Team Holloway Racing and Graphics for the awesome Victory Lane and awards at the end of the season.
All right. Congratulations on your deserved victory here tonight, Keith.
Thank you, Tim.
As tonight's racing action comes to a close here at the Iowa Speedway, we thank you all for tuning in, and we will see you next time right here on the DRN for the Elite Seniors Racing Championship. Monday night at Port Royal Speedway in Port Royal, Pennsylvania, and then Myrtle Beach, South Carolina at Myrtle Beach for 100 laps for the late model stocks on next Wednesday night. Visit www.racemrl.com, like Keith said, /ESRC for more information. Thank you all for watching. We will see you next time on the DRN.